What is up, you guys? Come here and bring you guys once again another video. Welcome to today's video. Now this is going to be a little different. I see a lot of YouTubers doing this, more so Madden YouTubers. Well, like just sports gaming YouTubers in general. But you know, I wanted to try it myself, so why not? So anyway, if you don't know what this is a tier maker. A lot of people have been doing it recently. So yeah, today I'm going to be doing the NFL quarterbacks. This is including rookies who were drafted this year. So this is basically every quarterback going into next season. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright. So if you don't know how this works, so there's the 5 different tiers: below average, average, above average, borderline, elite, and elite. Now, I don't think I really need to explain it. Below average is the worst, elite is the best. So yeah. Anyway, first quarterback is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. So, I don't know how I feel about him just yet. I feel like he did okay last year, but I don't know if I want to put him in that above average yet. He's between these two currently. And if I'm being honest, I feel like Josh Allen is a little average. I don't feel like he did as well as people thought he was going to do last year. But I mean, he was stuck on the Buffalo Bills, who don't have too many weapons, don't have necessarily the best offensive line in football. But yeah, I'm gonna put Josh Allen in the average tier. Next one we have is Alex Smith of the Redskins. So Alex Smith is actually an above average quarterback. I can't say that enough. He's probably one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Not borderline elite worthy, but he's above average. With the Kansas City Chiefs, he did really good. Didn't turn the ball over too much. Was a smart quarterback. Then with the Redskins, if it wasn't for him tearing his ACL, he probably would have had a pretty good season. So yeah, above average for Alex Smith. Seems pretty good in my eyes. Next we have Baker Mayfield. The quarterback I believe did the best out of all the rookies from the 2018 draft. I'm going to put him in borderline elite, more so because even as a rookie, he is out really good. Some people will say it's hard to judge a player based off of one season, and I'd agree. I do that a lot. I'm that kind of person that would say that. But when you see what Baker Mayfield did for the Browns, who just went 0-16, and then the season before that went 1-15, he deserves to be in the borderline elite tier. He is a smart decision maker. He turned the ball over, I believe, 12 times, past 27 touchdowns. But with the amount of games that he played, building up stats like that and almost hitting 4,000 yards, that's pretty good, especially for a rookie quarterback. All right, next we have here is Ben Roethlisberger. All right, people are going to hate that I do this, especially Steelers fans, but I'm going to put Ben in above average, but I'm going to put him above Alex Smith. I only have him in above average because Ben isn't the same Ben that he was a couple of years ago. And then going into this season, he lost AB. He still has Juju, but lost AB. Lost Le'Veon. Loses 2 of the biggest weapons on his offense. And their offensive line is pretty old, and I feel like it's going to start regressing soon. I feel like they're not going to be as productive as they are currently. Ben's not a bad quarterback by any means, don't get me wrong, but I feel as if he's not going to be the same Ben that he was a couple years ago going into next season. So as of now, I'm going to keep him in the above average tier, but he is probably going to stay at the top of the above average tier. Next we have is Drew Brees. That's an obvious one. I don't think anybody can doubt that he's an elite quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback in the league right now. I know people are going to be like, oh, Tom Brady's the best, blah, blah, blah. Drew Brees is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Let's be 100% honest. All-time leading passer in passing yards. All-time leading passer in touchdowns, I believe. I might be incorrect right there, but I'm pretty sure he is. But anyway, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Next we have is Cam Newton. I don't know where to put him. I want to put him in borderline elite, but he's really good at running. And the times where he makes big throws are pretty open passes. He's a good quarterback by all means, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I want to put him in that borderline elite yet. I'm going to put him above Alex Smith, though. I know for a fact he's better than Alex Smith. I don't know if he's better than Ben Roethlisberger. It's a mix between those two. In my personal opinion, I would put Cam in front of Ben Roethlisberger, but stats-wise, passing and rushing, it's a little different because they're 2 different base type quarterbacks. So I'm going to just keep Cam in the above average tier as of right now. Next we have is Derek Carr of the Oakland Raiders. This one's hard because I like Derek Carr even though I'm a Chargers fan. And even though I'm a Chargers fan, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to make valid statements on why I'm putting players in places. Derek Carr to me. Ugh. I want to put him in that above average just because I know he's good. Just the team that he has in Oakland is not good. Well, as of last season. But since this is the tier going into next season, I'm going to put him in that above average tier just because he got some really good receivers in free agency and Antonio Brown and personal favorite Tyrell Williams. So I think he's going to do it right. And then you add the addition of Josh Jacobs from the draft. I feel like he is going to do a decent job in Oakland. But for Derek Carr, I'm going to put him in the above average, but he's going to be below those three. Next we have is Kirk Cousins. I can't say this enough. Kirk Cousins is average to me. I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all, but I do think he's average. He's average to the point where, yeah, he's just average. There's not much you can say. You know, he's very inconsistent. He started off the season great last year, but then really fell off. Like, the Vikings were doing pretty decent, and then halfway through the season were just plain average. And I think that's because Kirk Cousins wasn't making smart decisions with the ball. So that's why I put him, Kirk Cousins, an average. All right, next we have Jameis Winston of the Buccaneers. How much controversy will this cause? I think Jameis Winston's average. I think he's okay. Do I think I'll start a franchise off with him? There's a very high chance that I might, but I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Jameis Winston, you know? I liked Jameis Winston his rookie year, actually, and then the season after his rookie year. But I think he's kind of fallen off, and I think he's just an average quarterback as of right now, stats-wise. But yeah, next we have Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott is better than Alex Smith and Derek Carr. I know a lot of people will absolutely hate that decision. But when you look at the way the Cowboys have played, yes, people will say Zeke carried the team. And of course that is definitely a way to say it. But Dak still is making pretty decent throws. Like the second half of the season after acquiring Amari Cooper from the Raiders, he was blowing up the passing game. He wasn't doing bad at all. And if you watch the Philadelphia Eagles game, where Amari Cooper, I believe, had 200 yards. Not Derek Carr. Dak Prescott was actually throwing pretty good that game. He's an above-average quarterback. He could be considered in that borderline elite, just like Ben, Cam. I feel like those three quarterbacks are very close to being in the borderline elite. But yeah. Next we have Sam Darnold. Okay. This one's very difficult because I like Sam Darnold a lot, even though his stats weren't the best, but I think he's better than Josh Allen. I think next season he's going to actually do pretty good. I don't think he's borderline elite, not even close to what Baker Mayfield has done. But I think he's an above average quarterback. I think some of the throws that he made last season showed that he was a really good quarterback. Some of the decisions were questionable. But Sam Darnold, I feel going into next season is probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks out of the last year's draft class. So yeah. Next we have Eli Manning. Ooh. I don't know where to put him. I want to put him in average, but I think he's better than an average. Alright, you know what? Just to be nice, I think he's I'm gonna keep him in above average, but he's gonna be the very low tier. I'm only putting him in average because he's not he's average now, but he's not a super horrible quarterback. Going into next season, I think he's not gonna do as well because Odell's gone. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep him in above average. I might change that later, but I'm keeping him in above average. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Below average and average to me. Yes, he has some really good flashes of being a really good quarterback, but he's not consistent. But the thing is, because of those very good games, and then he can come back to that same streak. I kind of would have put him in average. I'm put him in average. I think he's an okay quarterback. If he was just a little more consistent, then I think he could get the job done. I think he could be a starter. But yeah. Next we have Nick Foles. I'm giving. Oh, this one's actually hard. I'm giving Nick Foles above average. Yes, that's going to be very controversial, but I think he's above average more so because of his playoff record. He's actually really good in the playoffs. Regular season, I don't know about that, but now that he's with the Jags, I mean, you take him from the Eagles, who have Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar at wide receiver, right? And then you give him to the Jags, who have who? Marquise Lee. Keelan Cole is actually pretty good. I like Keelan Cole. But you take those two receivers and then downgrade a lot, going from Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar to the guys in Jacksonville. I mean, do I think Leonard Fournette will help Nick Foles a little bit? A little bit. I don't think. I don't think Leonard Fournette is one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's very inconsistent, and I don't think people realize that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep Nick Foles in above average. Next, we have Jared Goff. Ooh, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I think last season Jared Goff did actually really good. There was a point in the season where he was being considered as an MVP candidate. I think Jared Goff is going to do better next season. Um, I mean, it's kind of hard not to do really good, especially with the receivers that you have in Los Angeles. Well, the Rams, Los Angeles. And then you have Todd Gurley, probably one of the best running backs in the league currently. So I think Jared Goff is going to do a little bit better next season. But I don't know if he's currently that elite type yet. Next, we have Matt Ryan, another guy that I believe is borderline elite. I think Matt Ryan is actually one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does, but he's definitely way above average. And actually, I'm going to put him above both Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff. I definitely think Matt Ryan is better than 90% of the quarterbacks that I have listed right now. The only quarterback I think is better than him, of course, is Drew Brees. But it's kind of easy to be borderline elite, especially with receivers like Julio Jones. That's very easy. And then Calvin Ridley was killing it last year. But even having those receivers, it doesn't matter. He was making really good throws. Under pressure, outside the pocket, he's making really good throws. So that's why I'm putting him in borderline elite. All right, next one. Jimmy Garoppolo of the Niners. I don't like the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is highly overrated. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, yes, he did win 5 games for the 49ers. His first time being a 49er. But I think he's above average. I don't think he's that good. Like, going into next season, I feel everybody that I have ahead of him right now is going to do way better than him. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, yes, is he the franchise guy in San Francisco? Possibly. Do I think he is above the guys that I have him below? No, not at all. I'm one person that doesn't believe Jimmy Garoppolo is elite or borderline elite. I don't think he is going to lead the 49ers to double-digit wins as everybody thinks they'll go to. But, maybe that'll change. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he does have some pretty good weapons. He has Dante Pettis, Pierre Garçon. He has George Kittle. Like, he has pretty good players. And then he has Matt Breida in the backfield. And Jerick McKinnon's coming back, so maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Next, we have Joe Flacco of the Denver Broncos. Okay. Where do I start? I think Joe Flacco, this point in his career, is a little above average. Part of me wants to put him in that average tier, but part of me is like, he's still not a bad quarterback. He was doing fairly decent last season before he got hurt, and then lost his starting job to Lamar Jackson. Do I think the Ravens should have kept Joe Flacco and maybe kept him for like playoff? Yeah, I personally think that he should have stayed with Baltimore for the playoffs. You could take the Chargers-Ravens game in the playoffs, for example. The Ravens got smoked. If they put Joe Flacco in, maybe they would have had a chance, but I don't know. Next, we have Case Keenum, who is now on the Redskins. Average. He's very average. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. Well, kind of. But based off his one season in Minnesota, I think gave him the upper hand of like view on himself. I feel like after that season he was okay. I'm gonna put him up. No, I'm not. But yeah, I can't really explain. I'm just keeping him in average. Lamar Jackson. Part of me wants to put him in average. Part of me wants to put him in above average. So I'm gonna put him in above average. And I personally think he is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. because of the big plays that he caused last year, the Ravens went from one of the worst running defenses with Joe Flacco in, not running defenses, running offenses with Joe Flacco in, to being one of the better ones. So, I think Lamar Jackson helped with that a lot. So I'm going to put him in above average. All right, Philip Rivers. Personally, in my opinion, I believe he's elite. I think he is a smart decision maker. Yes, he can't really do much running wise because he's probably one of the slower quarterbacks in the league. But passing, some of the plays that he makes are ridiculous. Some of the passes that he makes, you may question it, but then when you look at it, you're like, he got that in the perfect spot at the perfect time, 90% of the time. And then with the weapons that he has around him with Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, the Mike Williams that's absolutely killing it last year, and then has Hunter Henry coming back, I feel Philip Rivers is going to be high up there in the quarterback list for next season. I feel like he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks. I feel like he's going to be an MVP candidate again, like he was this year. So yeah. Next we have Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is elite to me. There's a lot of people who say Andrew Luck isn't elite because he's too injury prone. Those people clearly didn't see what he did last season. I believe Andrew Luck is by far one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and there's no doubt that he's not one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. I feel last season was a prime example of why you shouldn't doubt him because, yes, he had horrible arm injuries and he can't stay healthy, but he came back last season and murdered it and then killed it. Well, not killed it, but did decent in the playoffs. So, yeah. Next, we have Marcus Mariota. I think Marcus Mariota is better than Josh Allen, better than Kirk Cousins, and better than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, I believe, were drafted the same year. I think Marcus Mariota is a decent passer. He doesn't really turn the ball over too much. I mean, last season wasn't a valid season for him turnover wise. He did fairly bad last year. But going in next season, I feel like they're going to do a little bit better, especially with drafting AJ Brown from Ole Miss. I think him and Corey Davis are going to be a pretty good tandem. And then you still have Tajay Sharp below both of those guys, and then you still have Delaney Walker, a tight end, one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now. Even though he's super old, he's still one of the best in the NFL right now. But yeah. Next, we have Mitchell Trubisky. I actually like Mitchell Trubisky a lot. I think he is... I want to put him in borderline elite, but I'm not going to. I, however, think he is better than Dak Prescott. A lot of people are not going to agree with me with that, and I know that for a fact. But I think he's a little better than Dak Prescott, record-wise. May not show it, but Mitchell Trubisky is working with a lot less than Dak Prescott is. He doesn't have an elite running back like Dak Prescott has. Amari Cooper is way better than every receiver on the Bears right now. I love... Oh, wait, Allen Robinson's not even there. Wait, no. Yes, he is. I'm a liar. Sorry. Allen Robinson is above average to me. I think Allen Robinson is great. I don't think he's elite or anything like that, but Mitch Trubisky has less to work with. And the fact that the Cowboys have a really good offense line, probably the best offensive line in the NFL right now, for Dak Prescott to not have the stats for Dak Prescott not to have the stats behind the offensive line that he has is ridiculous. All right, Patrick Mahomes. Part of me wants to put him in borderline elite just because he's a Chief and he only has one good season under his belt, but I'm going to put him in elite going into next season because he blew it up this year. I hate doing that because I'm a Chargers fan and he's a Chiefs player. But in personal opinion, Patrick Mahomes is really good. So yeah. Next we have Andy Dalton. I don't really need to explain that. He's average at best. Can't win a playoff game for the life of him. So yeah. Russell Wilson, another elite guy. I think he's probably the best decision maker in the NFL right now. Aaron Rodgers, obviously elite. Part of me wants to put him in that borderline elite just because I don't know. I'm a liar though. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I'm actually going to put him up here. I'm going to put him behind Drew Brees though, and put Russell Wilson in front of Patrick Mahomes. Okay, next we have Josh Rosen. All right, so I think Josh Rosen deserves another chance. I think he's going to be good in Miami. I think he's above average. I think he's better than Josh Allen, even though last season didn't really show it, but he was with the worst team possible. I think if you throw any quarterback in the situation that Josh Rosen was in last year, they are going to be horrible. So yeah. Matthew Stafford. I'm going to put Matthew Stafford in borderline elite. I think Matthew Stafford is actually a really good quarterback. I don't think people give him the credit that he deserves. I think he's actually a really good decision maker. So yeah. All right, Ryan Tannehill, first below average guy here. I think Ryan Tannehill is not it. Even when Ryan Tannehill was in, like the first couple years of his career when he was actually the not injury prone, I think he was decent. But now Ryan Tannehill is just not good. He really isn't. He didn't do anything in Miami last year, especially getting injured again. So yeah. Tom Brady, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. I hate putting him at number 1, but it's true. It's Tom Brady. 6 rings. You can't deny it. Next, we have Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is borderline elite. I think if he does a couple more things better than he's currently doing, I think he's absolutely elite. He has great receivers. He has a decent running game with Lamar Miller back there. So yeah. Carson Wentz, I'm gonna put him in above average, but I'm gonna put him more so up here. I'm gonna put him above Dak and Mr. Trubisky. I think Carson Wentz is really good when he's not hurt because he was considered an MVP candidate his second year, I believe. But he's injury prone right now. He can't stop getting injured. But yeah. Next, we have Dwayne Haskins. So it's kind of hard to judge a player based on like rookie year because none of these guys have played yet. But I think Dwayne Haskins is automatically going to be the day 1 starter in Washington. I think he's going to be better than Alex Smith for sure. But just because he is a rookie, I'm putting him in the very low tier of above average. Drew Lock, kind of the same situation. I think he's going to win the starting role in Denver next year. So I'm going to put him in that below average, above average tier, but in the very lowest. Kyler Murray, I'm going to put him in above average too. I personally think that Kyler Murray is better than Drew Lock, but I think Dwayne Haskins is way better than Kyler Murray. People would disagree with that, and I'm very well aware of that. But I think Kyler Murray is not as good as Dwayne Haskins, and I don't believe that the Cardinals should have gotten rid of Josh Rosen for Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to have the exact same thing happen to him that Josh Rosen had. Anyway, next we have Daniel Jones. Absolutely the worst pick possible of this draft. I think the Giants should have drafted Dwayne Haskins. That's what I had on every single mock draft that I had. The fact that they took Daniel Jones absolutely ticked me off. I think everybody was very mad about that. Do I think Daniel Jones is okay? I don't think he's horrible, but I don't think he was the best choice for the Giants to pick. I think Dwayne Haskins should have been the quarterback, 100%. And even then, Daniel Jones still wasn't the best quarterback on the board at the time. You still had Dwayne Haskins, you still had you still had Drew Lock, and you still had Will Grier. I think all 3 of those guys are better than Daniel Jones, personally. But yeah, that's my tier list. I don't think I'm going to change anything. I think this is decent. I'm actually going to put Andy Dalton above both Ryan Fitzpatrick and Case Keenum. But yeah, there's my list. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to let me know what you guys want in the future. Toronto Thunderbirds will continue tomorrow. I'm uploading 4 videos, I believe, today. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.